Today we are going to search for extraterrestrial intelligent life in outer space. In SETI, in this game we send out probes to other planets. We make them land, we make them go around the planets to scan the planets. We need to collect data to see if we have indeed found intelligent life. And if we do, well, then we get to flip these alien boards over and use their special cards. Now, in this game, I'm going to give you an overview of this game. What do you do in this game? What can you do in this game? And how do you win it? Well, let's look at that. The game is played over a series of turns, where each player will do their main actions and any free actions. Then you will see if they have managed to reach any milestones or other achievements. Once they've done that, the turn goes on to the other player. They will again do one main action or any free actions that they can do. Once every player have done what they can and everyone have passed, well, that round is over. Then we need to collect income, pass the first player token to the next player, and start a new round. Now, before we look at what you can actually do in this game, let's take a look at the cards and the board itself. So this here is the main board. It is divided into 3 different parts. Up here you have the planetary board. In the center here you have the solar system board, and way over here you have the tech board. Now, these little pieces here in the center all twist and turns. And it's quite important for you at the start of the setup to make sure that each sector is divided equally, so you don't have the lines going in the middle of them, because that will matter later in the gameplay. So this here could be one of the cards that you will play in future gameplays. Now, when you play these cards, you can only play it for one of its benefits. For example, if you play its main action, well, then you cannot discard it and use the free action as well. Because that's what this symbol means. Free actions. You can discard this card and play at any time during your turn to gain whatever benefits the card has. Now, to do the main actions, you need to pay the cost. And then you can do whatever effect it says below. Now, some of these cards also have missions. They can give you additional bonus if you manage to meet whatever condition they have. Up here you can see the sector color of this card. This color becomes important when you do the scan action. I will show you that in a bit. And at the bottom we also have an income. This is whatever type of resource that this card becomes whenever you stuck it in under another card for its income effect. Again, I will show you this in a bit. So that was the board, the round structure, and the cards. And now we're ready to look at what you can actually do in this game, which is quite a lot, because again, you have main actions, and there are a few of those, and then you have free actions as well. And you have your little board here in front of you that you can upgrade, you can send out probes. There is a lot of things that you can do during your game. But let's look at the different main actions. First, how do you launch a probe? To launch a probe, we need to look at our player board in this section up here. Now, here you have a bunch of different actions that has to do with probes. And each of these different fields can be upgraded in the future, either to lower costs or to let you send out more than just one probes. Now, to be able to use these actions, you need to pay the cost. In this case, you need to pay 2 credits to launch a probe. Once you have paid the cost, you need to take your probe meeple and place it out on planet Earth. So that was launching a probe. Pretty easy, right? You pay 2 credits, meaning these ones here, and then you simply put the probe out on planet Earth. And in the future, you can upgrade this to get another probe. Now, once you have launched them, you can of course also move them. And to be able to move your probe, well, you need to pay this resource here. And you will do that by simply discarding the cards that has the same symbol in the top left corner. Now, whenever you move through asteroids, you need to pay 2 of these resources instead of just 1. But again, in the future, you can upgrade it so it won't be that high. But how do you move? When you move out on the board, you can move to an adjacent space, but you cannot move diagonal. Now remember, whenever you move into asteroids, it will cost you 1 movement point, but when you move out of them, it will cost you 2. And whenever you land on any of these little symbols here out on the board, you will gain 1 publicity, meaning that you simply move your meeple up 1 step on the publicity track. These publicities can later be used by doing other actions in the game. Every now and then, these disks will move, which will also make your little probes here move as well. So with a little planning, you can actually move your probe by just waiting for the solar system to rotate. So one way to move is to discard cards from your hand with the right symbol to be able to move out on the board. But you can actually also pay 1 energy to move 1 step. And as I told you, once you get to one of the planets, you can turn it into an orbiter or a lander that lands on the planet. Now, this is correct for every planet except Earth, because why would you want to land on Earth? You just left it, right? Well, now, how do you send your little probe out here to become an orbiter? Well, to do that, you need to be on one of the planets, not Earth, remember? Pay 1 credit and 1 energy. And then this little probe will be sent out to orbit whatever planet you were on. Now, if you are the first one to orbit that planet, you will get 3 points, because you are the first one and you get to place your little orbiter and you get to place your little probe here on that space to get that reward. Now, in this case here, you would also get 2 publicity. You would get to mark a signal in Saturn's sectors and also get some income. Now, if you instead want to turn your little probe here into a lander, you would need to pay 3 energy. And then you would get to take your little probe and put it on the planet. Again, if you are the first one here, you put it on this symbol and gain whatever reward it says. In this case, 2 data. But you would also get the victory points stated on that planet, plus a trace of intelligent life. Whenever another player lands on the planet or comes out as an orbiter, they would also get the rewards either stated on the planet or stated around the planet. But it's only the first player that can get the rewards stated on the first spot. Whenever you find any of these traces of life, you get to take your little marker and put it on one of the empty spaces below one of the 2 available alien species. And you can choose to take this species here or the other one that is available. That's all up to you. But the place where you put your marker, of course, needs to be free. Because again, the first player to find any of the traces, either pink, yellow or blue, gets to put their marker in one of the available spaces at the top beneath the alien species and get whatever reward is stated in that circle. Anyone that comes after the player that finds a yellow trace of life gets to place their marker beneath instead. They still get a reward, 3 points, but it's not as good as whoever was the first one to discover a trace of life for this species. Once all of the 3 markers beneath the alien species have been marked, well, we need to flip the alien board over, and this will give us a bunch of new things to discover. We also need to take the set of rules for that species, plus the deck of cards belonging to that alien species, giving us more powerful actions. So as I showed you before, you can get rewards where you get to scan sectors. But you can actually also pay 1 credit and 2 energies to scan a sector. And whenever you scan a sector, well, you are searching for intelligent lives, but you are not using your little probes here. You're simply sending out signals from Earth. And this is the main way for you to achieve and find purple traces of intelligent life. But how do you do it? If you get to scan a sector as a reward, well, then you get to scan the sector where the planet that you have gotten as a reward is. For example, in this case, the Saturn sector. But if you use a card to scan a sector, well then you would need to look at the top right corner of that card and scan the sector where the same symbol is. To scan a sector, you first need to take the leftmost data token in that sector and replace it with your own token. Like this. Now, any other player that scans this sector in the future would need to take the next token, and so on. Sometimes you might even fill up this trace and you will need to keep on going outside of the data track, which is okay. Now, when we have filled up this track completely with player tokens, we need to complete that sector, because the player that has the most markers in the data slot track wins that sector. And the player will place their token up on this spot here and get whatever reward it says. If there ever is a tie for most markers, well, the win will go to the player who placed their markers the latest. And each player that contributes to this sector will get this reward over here. So there's something for everyone. Now, this sector can later be completed again. And even though you cannot win this spot here again, you can still get rewards by placing your tokens up here in later turns. This means that whoever wins this sector the second time would still get a trace, but they won't get the victory points. And once we have completed this track, we will actually clear the track from player tokens again. We will keep the one on this space here and over here, but this one is emptied and refilled with new data tokens, which is why you would like to search this sector in the future again. Now, these spaces here on your player board can again be updated, meaning that you can advance the ways that you scan for nearby stars and sectors in the future. These data tokens are placed in your little data supply here. And as a free action, you can take one of these tokens and place them on this track to fill out these little spots. Once you have filled out all of these spots, you can pay 1 energy and analyze data. This is a main action. To fill up the little spots is free actions and can be done anytime, but the analyze data step is a main action and can only be done once during your turn. Once you have filled this track up, pay the energy to analyze the data, well, you would clear all of these spaces again. And then you would mark a blue alien trace out on one of the available alien species. So this is the main way for you to get blue traces of alien life. Now, as a tip, you can have a maximum of 6 data in your data pool. So be sure to use your free actions to fill up these spaces whenever you can. So I have said several times during this video that you can upgrade your tech on your player board, right? But how do you do it, Richard? Well, calm down, I'm gonna tell you. Well, to upgrade this, you need to pay 6 publicities, but then you can choose a tech to upgrade and take these little pieces of tiles here and put them into whatever piece you are updating on your player board. Now, if you are the first one to take that tech, you will get 2 points, and you get to move up your little token on the point track right away once you have received that scoring. And this is a brilliant way for you to upgrade your player board. Now, as I told you before, these are 3 quite powerful main actions. And to upgrade this will lower your cost, will get you to move more, will give you more alternatives when you analyze data and give you more bonuses. So don't forget to upgrade your board. Now, when you research any tech here on your player board, we also need to rotate the little solar system out on the board itself. So when we have researched the tech, we need to move this disk 1 step and move the corresponding part of the solar system that this symbol is showing. Here it is the top of the solar system that we need to rotate 1 step. When we pass the orange one, it is the second one that we need to rotate. And when we pass the third one, well, it is the big part of the bottom that we rotate 1 step. Out on the board, we also have these milestones here. And whenever you pass one of these milestones, you get to take one of your tokens and put it on one of the 4 available gold tiles out next to the board. Depending on if you're first, second or third on these tiles, you will get better rewards. And that's pretty much a player's turn. You can do main actions and you can do free actions. Now, there are a bunch of free actions that I will let you figure out all by yourself. Now, once you have done everything you can do, you need to pass. And once everybody around the table have passed, well, that round is over. Then we have a little end of round cleanup phase. First, we need to discard cards from our hand, so we only have 4 cards on our hand. And then we need to check if we need to rotate the solar system. Now, if you are the first player to pass this round, you take this rotation token and you put it next to the stacks. And then you rotate the solar system. The next step is to choose one card. And we need to choose from the stack from the round that we're in. Meaning that if you're in round 1, well then this is the one we choose from. We choose one card and then we return the rest. Other players will also choose a card of their own, and then they will decide if they want to pass. The earlier you're passing around, the more cards you will have to choose from. Once everybody have chosen, well, we also need to move this little token here and put it on the next stack of cards for the next rounds, as a reminder to rotate the solar system. Next, everybody also get income depending on which cards they have in front of them. In this case, the player would get energy, resource, draw a card, and one more resource. We then need to pass the first player token to the player on our left. And this is the way the game goes on for 5 rounds. By the end of the 5th round, well, we will have a victorious, glorious winner who hopefully have managed to discover alien life. SETI was one of the more hyped up releases last year, and I can see why. Because the game itself is great. There's so much things you can do here, from upgrading your board, trying to search life, scan different zones, move your little probes around on a table, twist and turn the little solar system. And if you play your cards right, I mean, you can move your little probe out on the board without even having to play cards from your hand, because the solar system will twist and turn in a way that it pushes you forward. Also, the little upgrades here on your board, which are exquisite quality, may I say, is just so cool. I mean, you can get more movements, you can get cheaper movements, more data zones down here that you can gather and analyze. It is so much things that the players can do that the possibilities are so big, and the replayability is huge. And the artwork on the cards, it's just beautifully made. The board is really, really great made. The player boards, everything is so nice. There's so many small details in the little probes and tokens that you have here. And I also love the fact that in the bottom of these little player cards here, you actually have facts from the real SETI. Because this is not fake, this is not sci-fi. We're doing this right now. I mean, we haven't discovered any aliens yet, but it's an ongoing process. And I love the fact that they have turned something into a real experience. This is not just made up, and they show it by putting in facts from the real projects on the cards. There you have it, my friend. That is SETI. Now, in this game, you can also play it solo. I haven't showed you anything about the solo bit, but I'm thinking that once you know the basic that I just showed you now, you can build up the solo game on your own. I have tried it, and man, it is quite good as well. It's not too fiddly, there's not too much work with your opponent, and it gives you quite a challenge, actually. I really enjoyed this game. If you want to know more about it, well, check out the links down in the description and it will take you straight to it. If you like whatever I'm doing here, well, give me a thumbs up, throw in a comment there, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, my friend, please remember to search for intelligent life on planet Earth as well. And spreading that board gaming love I know you all have. Peace.